Squash matches are usually delivered with the intention of getting a wrestler over. They usually feature enhancement talents, and the main purpose of the enhancement talent is to make their opponent look as good as humanly possible. From time to time, WWE likes to deliver a completely out-of-the-blue squash match, which nobody sees coming. This match is usually expected to be around 10 to 20 minutes, but then WWE does the unthinkable and squashes a notable and credible performer in just a few minutes, sometimes even a few seconds. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at 10 WWE squash matches that nobody saw coming. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new channel, Wrestlelamia Shorts. Number 10. Finn Balor vs KANE on Raw 2017. WWE made several mistakes with their main roster presentation of Finn Balor, but the way they presented him on Raw after TLC 2017 was incredibly frustrating. TLC 2017 featured Balor defeating AJ Styles in a classic matchup, but instead of following this up with a substantial push for the inaugural Universal Champion, they decided to have Balor get squashed by KANE. KANE would defeat Balor with 3 consecutive chokeslams, and the fan outcry was extreme yet justified. According to reports at the time, Vince McMahon was angry with Balor following the TLC event. Following Balor's match with AJ, Balor and AJ would perform a 2-sweep, but this reportedly wasn't in the initial script. Due to this unscripted moment, McMahon decided to push Balor by booking him to be squashed by a semi-retired wrestler. Number 9. Rey Mysterio vs JBL, WrestleMania 25. 21 seconds was all it took for Rey Mysterio to defeat JBL and capture the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania 25. This came as a complete surprise, as JBL was one of the most credible talents on the entire roster, but this was to be JBL's final WWE match, and this was a fitting end to JBL's villainous reign of terror. According to JBL, he handpicked Mysterio as his way of giving back to the wrestling business, and JBL and Mysterio had always had a great relationship behind the scenes, so it made a ton of sense. Not many wrestlers would agree to retire in this dramatic and humiliating manner, but JBL did, and that's something that can never be taken away from the former WWE champion. Number 8. AJ Styles vs Omos, Raw 2022. When AJ Styles and Omos disbanded as a tag team, they decided to book the two in a match on Raw in early 2022. WWE fans were under the impression that this would be one of the longest matches of Omos' career, as AJ was one of the greatest of all time, so he'd be able to carry Omos to a decent match. However, WWE decided to have Omos completely squash his former tag partner. AJ sold incredibly throughout the match, and he made Omos' moveset look absolutely phenomenal, no pun intended. Seeing AJ get squashed in this emphatic way didn't make for great viewing, but it did portray Omos as the next big heel in WWE, which is clearly what they wanted at the time. Number 7. Becky Lynch vs Bianca Belair, SummerSlam 2021. Becky Lynch made her grand return to WWE at 2021 SummerSlam event and subsequently squashed reigning SmackDown Women's Champion Bianca Belair to win the title. This threw fans completely off guard, as fans had to process Lynch returning as a heel, but also Lynch ending Belair's reign in just 27 seconds. This booking decision received universal criticism from fans on social media, with some fans claiming that WWE had outright buried Belair and there was no way back from booking Belair to be squashed. At least we were wrong on that. During an interview on the Out of Character podcast, Lynch would discuss why WWE made the call for her to squash Belair, and this is what she had to say.
And I'm a new mom, and I'm coming back, and they're excited, and there's this girl who's been doing awesome. Like, that's a great rivalry. We like both these guys. How do we make them not like one of them?
That's hard.
She's the company girl, you know?
Yeah.
Like, let's do this quick, you know? And so I know a lot of people were upset that, you know, oh, well, if they were going to do this, then they should have had a long match. Well, if we had a long match and then I beat her, then I just beat her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then that's not good. That's not good for her. But if she's robbed and we take something from her and she doesn't expect it, then we want to see her succeed.
Number 6. Ronda Rousey vs Ruby Riott, Elimination Chamber 2019. Upon the announcement that Ruby Riott would challenge Ronda Rousey for the Raw Women's title at the Elimination Chamber event in 2019, fans were initially excited. Riott was vastly underrated in WWE, and she was finally being given a major spotlight. Unfortunately, WWE used the match to further elevate Rousey's star power as they had Rousey squash Riot in 1 minute and 40 seconds. According to Riot, Rousey wasn't happy with the way in which WWE handled the booking of the match, so Rousey did everything she could for the duo to have a longer, more meaningful rematch on Raw the next night. Rousey and Riot would then go on to have an 11-minute main event match on Raw, which was considerably better and was exactly the type of match that needed to be on pay-per-view the night prior. Number 5. Chavo Guerrero vs KANE, WrestleMania 24. WrestleMania 24 was a historic night for the ECW brand, as the ECW title would be defended for the first time ever on the grandest stage of WrestleMania. Unfortunately, WrestleMania 24 wasn't the best showcase of the ECW brand, as WWE decided to have KANE squash Chavo Guerrero in just 11 seconds to win the ECW title. While seeing KANE win the title was a great moment, the ECW brand deserved better, and this was a clear sign that WWE, more specifically Vince McMahon, didn't value the ECW product. During a digital signing, Guerrero would state the match was originally supposed to get around 8 minutes, but it was ultimately cut for time. So the week before we had like 8 minutes. When we got to WrestleMania, Vince called us in. He goes, "Guys, I have to cut time. I'm cutting time all over the place. I even cut time from the main event and here's shuffling times around." So he goes, "I can only give you guys 2 minutes. Well, I'm like, 2 minutes? What are we gonna do in 2 minutes? No one remembers a 2-minute match at WrestleMania. Nobody. So we're like, well, what if we say we can do this, in 10-20 seconds? And he was like, what? Well, that's great. How can you do that? Number 4. Goldberg vs Evolution, Raw 2003. Everyone remembers the time Goldberg squashed Brock Lesnar at the 2016 Survivor Series, but there was a time in which Goldberg himself was outright squashed in WWE. In 2003, they booked Goldberg to take on Triple H, Batista, and Randy Orton in a handicap match on Raw, and due to Goldberg being world champion, it was expected that Goldberg would be protected as much as humanly possible. Goldberg would be annihilated by Evolution. He got a few moves here and there, but it was a terrible presentation of the then world champion, and it wasn't before long that Triple H hit a pedigree, pinning Goldberg for the 1-2-3. Number 3. Rhea Ripley vs Natalya, Night of Champions 2023. Whilst nobody anticipated Natalya to dethrone Rhea Ripley at the 2023 Night of Champions Premium Live event, nobody could have ever predicted that Natalya would be squashed in just 70 seconds. In the match itself, Ripley would take full advantage of a distraction from Dominic Mysterio. Ripley would attack Natalya on the outside before performing a riptide to retain the SmackDown Women's title. The social media reaction to this squash was hilarious, as fans discovered that it was in fact Natalya's birthday, so it wasn't exactly the greatest birthday gift WWE would give. Number 2. The Undertaker vs John Cena, WrestleMania 34. WrestleMania 34 was a special event for WWE fans, as at long last Taker and John Cena were set to collide at WrestleMania. Fans anticipated an all-time classic, with some fans even suggesting that the match should close out the show. However, the match featuring Taker performing his basic moveset and squashing Cena in 120 seconds left fans speechless. This wasn't what anyone wanted, and this negativity was also expressed by the dead man himself. Taker trained with the idea of producing a full-length match, but Vince McMahon had insisted that it was to be a squash match. McMahon missed the mark in a major way, as he failed to understand what fans wanted to see out of a legend versus legend match of this nature. And number 1, John Cena vs Brock Lesnar, SummerSlam 2014. John Cena is well established for being one of the most protected wrestlers of all time, but in summer 2014, WWE did the unthinkable. The 2014 SummerSlam event featured Brock Lesnar squashing Cena to win the world title. Whilst it was obvious that Lesnar was winning, the idea of Lesnar winning by squashing WWE's top guys seemed like an option WWE would never explore. The match lasted 16 minutes in length, and 95% of those minutes featured Lesnar German suplexing Cena around the ring. According to Cena during an interview with Sam Roberts, it was Stone Cold Steve Austin who came up with the idea of the squash match. I remember Brock being like, "I had dinner with Steve Austin last night and we came up with this idea where I started suplexing you and don't stop, and then beat you. Yeah, we both collectively agreed that you just beat the streak. We ruined that if we have a 50-50 match. How do we not waste the Undertaker's streak? It's not just Brock winning the match, it's all those matches he had leading up to losing. If I go out and have a 50-50 match where he just sneaks over, we wasted all that. If you take that unbelievable feat with another unbelievable feat, now we have passed the energy, and that is how you make someone. That someone can make others, and that's how the business works. You have to be able to work together. You can survive and thrive by also being generous and being giving and working with others." But there you have it folks, 10 WWE squash matches that nobody saw coming. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.